Hello, hello. We are back for day 2 of the Vitality Challenge. There's going to be a different topic each day. And if you looked at your program guidebook, you know what they are already. And I might have announced it too. But so yesterday, if you didn't see the video yet, I talked all about probiotics and what those do for not only your digestion, but also your immune function and overall health and vitality by helping us absorb nutrients from our food. So yesterday was all about probiotics, and today I'm going to be telling you about a category of herbs called adaptogens, herbs and mushrooms. So I'll explain what adaptogens are and give you a whole bunch of examples and tell you how each one helps you. And then the next 3 days, we're going to be talking tomorrow about greens, and then fiber, and then anti-inflammatory foods and inflammation in the body and how it works in general and what it is. So those were the 5 days. And I didn't really, I spent so much time yesterday going over the ground rules that I really want, I didn't have time or didn't take the time to get into kind of why we're here. So before I get started tonight, I just want to give a little bit of background about that because I think it's important to give that context. I'm not going to go on too long because I have a lot of adaptogens to cover, but I did want to tell you guys that nutrition for me has been a kind of a lifelong, since I was a teenager, fascination / at times obsession. But when I was younger, I had an eating disorder that I'm in recovery from now, and it's compulsive overeating. And I really, because of that, became really, I guess, kind of captivated with learning, like, what is it about food that can be addictive about certain foods, and what is it actually doing in my body? And I felt like I had to try to understand that piece of it to help cure myself. So that was where it really started for me, reading about different nutritional theories. And for me, strange as it sounds, like, it wasn't, as miserable as I was, that was partly a motivation to recover from my disorder, but also reading about the health effects was pretty persuasive for me, to be honest. And so I found along the way that educating myself has really, I guess, helped it stick. I'm not someone who's going to do something just because somebody tells me to. I want to really understand it. So I guess these challenges that I create are for people who feel the same way, where you really want to go a little deeper and understand more about nutrition and what effect foods are having on your body. And then the other piece of it for me has been depression, which has been this kind of constant companion for me in my life since about the same time. Teenage years are really tough for everyone, I suppose, but especially, I think, for young women. Just mood swings and hormones just raging, and it's really tough to get through. And so that was around, I guess, age 13 or so that my eating disorder first developed or manifested, and then also just began having mood swings that were really hard for me to handle. And that has leveled out over the years. I'm sure some of that has to do with hormones stabilizing as we get older, but I also think there are a lot of lifestyle changes that I've made along the way, including nutritional changes. And just in a nutshell, the way that I feel most of the time now is just complete night and day from the way that it used to be, where I was trying so hard to find joy and see the positive in life, but I felt like I had like stones around my feet just dragging me beneath the surface all the time. That, like, I really wanted to have a positive outlook, but something was just not allowing me to do that. And it was my brain chemistry. But, and I did go to therapy and I did take medication for a period of time. And I, you know, sometimes those things are necessary, and I would never discourage you from pursuing those remedies, but there's a lot that we can do through nutrition as well, which is what I'm focusing on in this challenge. So, just a lot of the specific foods and supplements that I have added in that now I pretty much, I mean, I do consider them medicine, and I don't skip a day of the things that I'm telling you about. So let's talk about adaptogens. So just remember, participation in this challenge gets you entered for the prize, which is any one of these supplements, one of your choosing that I've been talking about. The 5 that I'm promoting with a discount, you get to pick one and actually get it for free if I draw your name from everyone who participates. So you participate by commenting on the videos, and you can either leave in the comments or you can message me privately one thing from each day that you learned. And so each response counts as one entry. So at the end of next week, April 1st, or probably the day after, April 2nd, Monday, I'm going to draw the winner for that. So you have until April 1st, end of the day, you know, midnight going into April 2nd. And then each of the days, there's one product that I'm mentioning, and I'm doing a special discount for this group. It's $20 off Shakeology and $10 off the lesser price supplements that I'm mentioning. And those are for new HD orders, new home direct orders. So if it's something that you already use, you are welcome to give the discount to a friend if they end up ordering through me. Or I can offer it to you as a referral bonus if you would prefer that instead. If you refer a friend, you say, this is something I really love using and here's why, and they end up deciding they want to try it too. Or the third option, I mean, I don't really care who it goes to. You guys could split the bonus and do 10 and 10. So hopefully that makes sense. But those discounts as well are only available through April 1st. All right, so talk to me. Tell me if you have heard of adaptogens, if you know what they are. Give me some hearts, thumbs up, question mark in the comments, no idea, but let me know. Is this something that is familiar to you or not? So I think, I mean, for someone who pays attention to this kind of thing, I have been seeing a lot of articles about it, and I'm always kind of shocked that there isn't more attention to this category of foods, because, I mean, I think it's possibly about to just completely blow up once people realize what these things can do for our bodies. But adaptogens, if you looked at the program guide, are a category of foods and herbs that help the body fight aging and respond better to stress or reduce the effects of stress. So this is a broad category. And each one of these I'm about to tell you about has different specific effects. And I'm not even going to mention everything that's in your program guide because it would be a really long video. So I'll kind of do like the greatest hits, which are my favorites. And then you can go and read more, which I would encourage you to do. And for each of them, there are links for additional articles that I found helpful. And like I said yesterday, you can do a Google search, which I feel like is a condescending thing to say, but that's not how I mean it. Like, Google it. What I mean is take charge of your health, and if there's something you're interested in, go and read more about it. Don't take my word for it. Like I said at the beginning, read like 10 articles and decide, you know, okay, I want to try this variety. And I guess if there's one wish I had for everyone in this challenge, it's that we would all be so empowered to really do our homework about what we're putting in our bodies. And I know it's kind of a pain in the butt and it's time consuming, but it's kind of like, you know, something that you can't unsee. Like, once I took an interest in learning about what I put in my body and reading more and more about it and making small changes to higher quality foods, I wouldn't want to go back because, yeah, I mean, I used to eat a lot of processed food, and now when I think about, you know, occasionally sometimes if there's like free food, I haven't done it in over 2 months because I'm on a special diet right now with 80-day obsession, but like it used to be when there was free food in the office cafeteria, I would have some, but the kind of like industrially produced packaged processed foods have a lot of additives that aren't good for us, and the cheap ingredients that they typically use, I mean, there are exceptions. There are some organic processed foods, of course, but like by and large, what am I trying to say? Like big food manufacturers who are just trying to get the cheapest product on the shelf that'll appeal to your taste buds and that will keep you coming back for more. They're not choosing high quality ingredients that give our bodies nutrients, empty calories, and you know, at best it's doing our bodies no good. At worst, they can actually be really harming our health. And so that's why I say, like, you can't unsee it. Like, once I had this realization, I really want less and less to put stuff like that in my body, and more of things like I'm about to tell you about. So like I said, that's just my my hope and my wish for everyone, really. And I know it kind of goes against the grain of our convenience culture, but that's also why I'll tell you about this supplement at the end. But like, these are the convenience foods that I feel comfortable having in my life and paying for, because let's face it, you know, fast food, prepared meals, those are convenience foods and they make life a lot easier. But there are actual health promoting foods that can also make life easier. It's kind of my point with this challenge. So let's talk some more about adaptogens. So I said, this is a broad category, help us fight aging, respond better to stress, or reduce the effects of stress. And many of these substances work through reducing our cortisol levels. So cortisol is the stress hormone that can lead to weight gain, especially belly fat. So this is one that we all want to reduce, right? But it's not just belly fat. Cortisol itself triggers other health effects, and then the belly fat also triggers health effects. So if you're stressed enough for long enough, you can get to kind of a tipping point where it's hard to bring your body back to balance. And, you know, it's just better if we can avoid it to, you know, not have that stress-related weight gain in the first place, or, you know, at least stop it in its tracks before it escalates. And so this is why I think adaptogens are so powerful, that, you know, these basically, so stress has physiological hormonal effects on us, and adaptogens can help temper those effects, which is pretty cool because we all have stress in our lives, right? And there are things we can do just, you know, mentally, so that we don't react as much and don't get as agitated when things happen, but that only goes so far. Like, there's still going to be things in life that upset us and stress us out. And not only that, but we talk about aging. So stress exacerbates aging. Scientists are starting to understand more about what aging actually looks like on the inside, on the cellular level. And it's similar to just stress accumulating over time. You know, over time, stress does accumulate, and that's what constitutes aging, by and large. So if we can temper the effects of stress, we actually, dare I say it, will age more slowly. And I know that sounds crazy, but I am going to tell you about some studies that literally show the aging process slowing down in the body because of some of the adaptogens I'm going to tell you about. It's kind of mind-blowing, and I probably wouldn't believe it if somebody told me in a video, but that's why I want you to go and read the article. All right, so let's get into it. Actually, the very first one that I'm going to tell you about. So there's a whole bunch of them. Go read your program guide. But astragalus, I heard it said both ways. astragalus. So this is the one that has been shown in clinical studies to... Sorry, I need to open this in my web browser. It's not clickable. I want to pull up the article for you guys. Okay, but I do actually know this by heart. I just won't have the percentages and everything for you, but my program's not working to pull up the article. But so, okay. So the way that astragalus works is, or one of the effects that's been observed in the body. Okay, so our chromosomes have DNA on the end called telomeres. And one of these symptoms of aging is the telomeres get shorter and shorter. And so they're very short in elderly people compared to young people. So by consuming astragalus consistently, it was observed that people's telomeres shorten more slowly, right? So we're slowing aging down. And in some cases, the telomeres actually got longer. Like this substance acted to reverse aging, at least by that one marker in the body. Like I said, totally mind-blowing. And that's why, so astragalus is one that's in Shakeology. And this is part of why I will not go a day without Shakeology, because, you know, life is stressful. Any help I can get, because, you know, in reality, like, who really gets enough sleep? We try, but very few of us do. These other natural, like, who lives in a pollution-free environment? We try, but there are always, you know, environmental things around us that we can't control. So to help our bodies, I don't want to say be immune, but to help our bodies be less susceptible to all of these stressful outside factors, I just think is really powerful and really important. All right. Second one I want to take a quick look at is maca root, M-A-C-A. And this one has an estrogen balancing effect. I'm going to talk about this more tomorrow when we talk about greens. But I just want to say hi to who's here. Hi, Angie. Hi, Carla. Hi, Jaden. Thank you for getting on. Let me know if you guys have questions, by the way. And also let me know if you have tried some of these before, or if you have heard of them before, or if it's brand new. I would love to know that. All right, maca root. So estrogen balancing, well, it also has benefits for energy and mood. So hormonal balance is obviously a good thing, just on the surface. I mean, balance is kind of a squishy term, right? But there are, let's say, you know, levels of cortisol and estrogen and progesterone, and insulin, like all of these levels that are optimal for our bodies, thyroid hormones. And I don't know those exact numbers, but we can get the concept of balance in our heads, right? I mean, for example, like insulin, you want it to be secreted when you have glucose, right? Blood sugar. Insulin is secreted to balance that, but then you want only the amount that's needed, and then you want that response to be turned off again when it's no longer needed, right? So balance is, you know, the appropriate amount of hormone for what it needs to do. Now, for a number of reasons, many women are estrogen dominant, which means they have too much estrogen. And what I'm learning, well, for obvious reasons, that would play a role in fertility. Excess estrogen is removed from the bloodstream through the liver. So if our liver is compromised by, say, drinking too much alcohol, that's one of the things that can lead to estrogen dominance, just for example. So obviously, if there's too much estrogen circulating, well, think about, so commonly women who have had trouble maintaining pregnancy are required to take progesterone shots when they get pregnant. Helps the pregnancy stick, helps you not lose the pregnancy. So progesterone balances estrogen. Again, there's that concept of balance. But so if you're estrogen dominant, you have too much estrogen compared to progesterone, you may have trouble becoming pregnant or staying pregnant. Well, you know, I've got other things going on in my body, including endometriosis. But I just wonder, I wonder if estrogen dominance has potentially played a role, and so adaptogens, substances that are helping my liver balance estrogen in my body, that to me is very appealing. So just to share a little bit of a personal reason of why I think these things are so important. All right, quickly, ginseng. So now we're getting into this. Okay, what I'm holding here is called Focused Energy Boost. And this is something that's supposed to be added to your Shakeology. You can put it in any type of smoothie. And all of these things that I'm describing to you have an herbal taste. I know that's not really the most precise term either, but herbs taste a lot of different ways, but a lot of them taste kind of funky and not something that you would eat like just for the enjoyment of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so that's why a lot of people, when they try Shakeology, they're like, huh, that tastes a little weird. Well, there's a reason for it. It's not that they just like screwed up how they flavored it. There are a lot of herbs in there, and that's why it tastes the way it does. And they have some nice, you know, coffee, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry flavor, natural flavors, but it doesn't hide it entirely. It doesn't obscure it entirely. So I personally think once you hear everything that's in there, like I'm happy to live with the taste and have that kind of weird, funky flavor in the background. Some people don't like it and they can't get past that. But I just did want to explain, like, there is a reason it's good for you. And so this is a little bit like that too. I almost, it has like almost a floral taste to me. It's the Focused Energy. But let me tell you about the effects and then, you know, the herbal taste. If you've ever had bee pollen, it's like something you can put in your smoothies also. It tastes similar to that for me. But anyway, ginseng is one of the things in here. There's several kinds of ginseng. And so it's something that has energy, benefits for your energy, memory, immune function, and then blood sugar balancing, which is something that, by the way, also cinnamon does. That's something that's really common. And if you just put like a little cinnamon, like in your oatmeal, things like that, it helps keep your blood sugar in balance, coming back to balance. But so then the body doesn't have to work so hard to do it, because what you're eating is helping the process. Matcha green tea. So this one is in Shakeology. It's a type of green tea that's grown in the shade and is richer in chlorophyll. That's why it has more health benefits than other green tea. Potent antioxidants. But the really interesting thing about this one is it has been clinically proven to have cholesterol reducing properties, which is, you know, I don't have the stats in front of me, but a lot of people are on drugs to limit, to reduce their cholesterol, right? So again, you know, this is not to replace medication when needed, but there very much are things that we can add to our diets that can help us not get to the point of needing medication. And in some cases, I have seen things turn around and, you know, people need less insulin or not need insulin anymore, diabetics, after weight loss, for example. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that, like, this is going to heal everything that's ailing you, but you also shouldn't go to the other extreme and think, okay, I'm going to be dependent on medication forever. Nutrition makes no difference. Like, I'm already on this med, so why even bother? Like, don't go there. What you eat does make a difference. All right, moving along. Rhodiola, it's also in here. Has benefits for energy, physical performance and exercise, and memory. So it's like a common theme of this one. So it's meant to be an alternative to coffee. I actually use both, but I just like coffee and I like the way it makes me feel. Not everyone feels that way. But so this one does have some caffeine from the green tea, but it's just like a very smooth, it doesn't make you feel jittery the way coffee does. And the ginseng, different types of ginseng that I mentioned. Oh yeah, this one has guarana also, which also has some caffeine. slower release than coffee, so the benefits last longer. Useful for weight management because it helps the body metabolize stored fat, antioxidant, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory effects, and it helps your sore muscles recover faster. So this one is really meant to be something that gives you energy on a daily basis. And like, I really love the way, I mean, I often don't get enough sleep, and this helps me feel alert through like the majority of the day. And I just really like the way it makes me feel. So that is another one that I use daily. The other thing that's in here that I want to tell you about before I wrap up is mushrooms. So give me some comments, give me some hearts if you have ever heard about health benefits of mushrooms. Medicinal mushrooms. All right, so there's a few kinds of mushrooms in here, and there's a few other kinds in Shakeology. And between them all, they're really pretty powerful. It's, again, kind of fascinating. So let's see, what do we have in here? This one has cordyceps, and those are in Shakeology too. So this kind of mushroom grows on the back of caterpillars. And I did read that it eventually kills them, which is kind of sad. But if you see the picture of the mushroom, like it becomes bigger than the caterpillar. It's just really wild. But also a little sad. But these mushrooms have anti-aging, disease-fighting properties. They improve athletic performance. I just want to make sure I have the right one. Yeah, so cordyceps was the one that has been shown in studies to reduce the size of tumors. That's just so powerful that, you know, I mean, I don't ever want to promise, like, this is going to keep you from getting cancer, but that's just a very powerful study finding, and the link is in your program guide. Reishi mushrooms. Give me some hearts if you have heard of these. So these are very trendy right now. People I know who live in California, they get, I mean, I'm sure it's not just California, but the people who partake in this trend who I know all happen to live in California. So you get your ground coffee, and it actually has ground up mushrooms in with it. So when you're steeping, you're brewing your coffee, there's mushrooms being infused also along with your coffee grounds. So here's that concept of balance again. Reishi mushrooms act like a normalizing substance, regulating various cellular functions and systems, including the endocrine system, your hormones, immune system, cardiovascular, central nervous, and digestive systems. So that's why this category of foods is hard to characterize, because they do so many things in the body. And then the last one, let's see, reishi. Yeah, reishi's in here. And then maitake mushrooms. So these are immune boosting. I'm just going to read this to you because I thought it was pretty cool. They contain a polysaccharide fiber called beta-glucan, which works to activate and increase production of certain immune system cells, such as macrophages, T cells, natural killer cells, and neutrophils. These cells help the immune system more quickly and efficiently fight against illness, increasing your resistance to sickness and disease, helping your body remove cellular waste, and speeding up recovery from tissue damage. These also have cancer-fighting properties because of the role macrophages play in ingesting and destroying tumor cells. They've done studies of these mushrooms with cancer patients. They make chemotherapy more effective, so you don't need as high of a dose. And they lessen the side effects of anti-cancer drugs, decreasing nausea, vomiting, and hair loss. So they are being used with cancer patients, specifically for those purposes. These also have a blood sugar regulating function. They work to decrease insulin resistance, increase insulin sensitivity. So people who are borderline diabetic, pre-diabetic, this can help them. It can keep it help keep it from escalating. You know, obviously it's case by case and it relies on lifestyle factors as well, but these play a role in keeping the disease from progressing. And then weight loss and heart health promoting. So these mushrooms, it doesn't sound believable, but go look at the articles. They decrease blood pressure levels, lower total cholesterol levels, help you maintain your weight, and all of this together helps promote heart health. Consuming these mushrooms helps you feel more full without eating more food, so decreasing appetite. One study gave 30 overweight adults daily doses of maitake mushrooms without changing any other aspect of their diets. At the end of the 2-month study, participants lost an average of 7 to 13 pounds. That's not really an average, it's a range, but persuasive nonetheless. All right, so I pretty much have mentioned this as I've gone along, but Shakeology has pretty much everything that's mentioned in your program guide for today for a lesser investment. The Focused Energy Boost. Let me just pull up what that is for you. Yeah, the links are not working from this program. Sorry, but so this, yeah, I don't want to quote the price, but the link is in your program guide if you want to check it out. And see what the price is exactly. I get it for the coach price, so I never know what the customer price is. But so it's less than half the cost of Shakeology for sure. And in this one, you can get the guarana, green tea, rhodiola, the different kinds of ginseng, and the matcha green tea, and then the 4 kinds of mushroom. So all of that is in here, the Focused Energy Boost, and again, you get the $10 discount off of, once you click through and you see the price, it's a $10 discount for participants in this program if you order by April 1st. Yeah, other than that, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to wrap up, but if you do have questions, leave them below. I'll come back and answer them. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Let me know if you have any questions about greens, our topic for tomorrow. But it's just going to be all about why greens are so important and why I pretty much never go a day without having some type of dark green vegetables in my diet. And I do have a solution for people who hate vegetables. Before I go, I did want to say, I mean, obviously, I think this is a convenient solution. Pretty much all of the substances I mentioned can be bought separately, right? You can go to the supplement aisle and get like 24 different bottles of pills. Or, I mean, obviously, if you're going to do that, you might as well just take Shakeology, honestly, because it will cost you less. So, but if you are not ready for that, you could pick like 1 or 2 of these to mix in. I think that's the number one thing I wanted to say today is like, don't get overwhelmed. There's a lot to learn about adaptogens. Obviously, I've just like, yeah, I talked for way too long about them, but I'm just so passionate about them and think we should all be taking them. But start with one that you found the most intriguing, and, you know, pretty much they're available, you know, in like capsules, or there's different teas that you can get. You can get the powder and put it in your tea, depending on what it is. So don't be afraid. Look for sources that are organic, but I think, yeah, just, you know, don't go for like the cheapest bottle you can find on the internet from some unknown store you've never heard of. Like, go to a trusted retailer is what I would say for these, because you want to know that what is in the bottle is what's actually on the label, and you want to know that it's not like contaminated in how it was processed, that it actually was handled in a responsible way. So, you know, go to a store where they can tell you a little bit about the sourcing. And, you know, some supplement companies also have third-party testing, so you can look for that too. So those are the pointers I would give you if you want to dive into these and try them just on your own without any of the combo products that I've been mentioning. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.